Hey everybody, it's March 21st, Thursday. I always forget we do these on Thursdays now. My name's still Kevin. I'm still CEO here at Coinmetro, and this is a business AMA. So we're going to talk about business, apparently. Before I do that, let's get a mic check. So no external mic today because I was left with one USB port. So it was either good video or good audio. I thought about it for a few minutes. I might have made the wrong choice, but I went with video. So mic good. All right, thanks, Monkey Biscuits. There might be a little bit of echo. If there is, not much I can do about it because, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks, actually the next business AMA should be in a more of a studio-like setting. So let's see what happens. Sorry for any background noise. I can't control that either. So let's jump right into it. Sorry about the 30 minutes. I was stuck in traffic. Yeah, so planned for a 20-minute drive, took an hour and a half. There you go. From Leo, hey, hello, Kevin. Why is it technically so difficult that I cannot close a margin of XCM, which is exactly 5,000? Support told me it's not possible, but I could close one margin that was 4,999. Hope XCM will. Either way, closing a market order in XCM is going to be difficult with the current wall. Not sure why there would be a difference, to be honest, between 5,000 and 4,999. But if you asked support and support gave you that answer, support should have investigated. So they may know more than I do. Hopefully they know more than I do, actually. Let me see if there's a follow-up to that question because I know you got cut off there. What's your favorite Beach Boys song? To be honest, if I think of the Beach Boys, I can think of one song. Let me think about that. I'll come back to that one. I'm trying to think if I know more than one Beach Boys song. Anyway, hey, Kev, remember Germany investment, UAE investment, soft commitment, XCM market makers? I remember. Yep, I'm on the member berries as well, my friend. I do member. Germany investment, UAE investment, yeah, those were all real things until they weren't. Soft commitments, also real things until they weren't. That's just the way stuff happens. I was actually talking to a friend of mine today who's in a whole different industry, but just as ridiculous as ours, meaning just as ridiculous as crypto, and was hunting around for some money. One of their physical stores needed a buyout. They got the buyout. Guy put down a deposit. 12 hours later, said he wasn't moving forward. So it's not just us, which doesn't necessarily make me feel any better, but hey, it is what it is. But yes, I member. I absolutely member. Is there a change? If there is a change in the XCM floor, is there a plan to open long margins on XCM? So let's play the if game. If there is if the floor is removed, those margin longs would be protected. That should answer that question, I think. But I should say that's a hypothetical question. Hey, Kevin, any progress on ACH Bank fiat on off-ramp for U.S. customers? Questions were asked a couple of weeks ago on the product update, and Oliver said to ask you. Thanks. Oliver, amazing. Sorry, I keep taking a sip of this coffee. It's been a long day, and I wasn't a coffee drinker my whole life. This has nothing to do with your question, Joe, but I'll get your question in a second. I was never a coffee drinker, ever, until about a little over a year ago when a friend of mine forced me to drink a coffee almost at gunpoint in Dubai. And the place is called Origins. It's in the DIFC in Dubai. If you're ever around the DIFC and you like coffee, go to Origins. If you don't like coffee, go to Orange. Try it. It might ruin your life. It ruined mine. Now I drink coffee. So the news is that we were onboarded and ready to roll with one of the biggest USD on and off ramp providers, and they lost their banking partner. So back to square one. We've now talked to 3 or 4 different providers. Also, a indirect provider of that other provider is now looking to connect a few different rails. And I think, we did initially think by the end of March we were going to have that USD provider online because it was just a technical integration. Now it's a little bit back to the drawing board. We're going to be late, that's for sure. But I think by the end of April, there is a chance that we get it over the line. So it is one of the top priorities, and there is a project manager only working on that. And thus, that's their full-time job. So, and doing a good job turning things around after the kind of bad news. There's no longer a CAD option on the site for currency. Are we ever going to get a CAD deposit option? We have options for Canadian dollars, but US dollars has definitely taken precedent since the USD off-ramp issue from when Prime Trust went. So I think I've done that before on an AMA, and then somebody memed it. So there you go. You're welcome. But yeah, we should, once we get USD back up online, CAD can become a thing again. By the way, guys, I do have some news. Everybody's been waiting for this end of quarter big news announcement. I'm not going to give you the full big news announcement, but I will throw a few of the tidbits out. But I'm going to wait till a bit later in the show. And if unless someone asks a question, that kind of leads me in that direction. But I do have a few tidbits to throw you guys. So up and coming. Dear Kenvin, I think this is a liquid question. Let's see. I transferred you all the liquids, every last one, yet still the compensation is not there. Not even a thank you, Manoush. This is the oppression. You know, Manoush, you gotta kind of hone in on your. I don't even know how to put this in a decent way, but the first part is amazing. Dear Kenvin, amazing. I transferred you all the liquids. Amazing. You're right on point. Every last one. Ooh, that's a little too correct. Now, yet wasn't capitalized. All right, but yet still the compensation is not there. That's almost a perfect sentence. So you kind of screwed the pooch on that one, and it just loses it for me, Manoush. You gotta when you're gonna go hard, man, you gotta go all in. So what you should have said was, dear Kenvin, I transferred you all the liquids, every last liquid. Still compensation, don't see. Right? That would have kept me in, and then I would have had an amazing comeback. But that almost perfect sentence in the middle kind of destroyed it for me. I don't know about anybody else. But thank you, Manoush, for the liquid. We're still trying to figure out how to take that liquid, contain it, and distribute it. So we're working on it. Tupperware is busy trying to put together the right container. If anybody knows what Tupperware is, you're old. Congratulations, and welcome to the club. Have you considered, instead of fee-free trading on XCM, adding a 1% burn to all transactions to prove tokenomics? I'm not sure we actually thought of that specific thing, man. But thanks for pointing it out, D-Dirts. And maybe that becomes part of the new tokenomics, which are amazing, by the way. Period. I don't know. Sam Locke. Where were you when you learned Dr. Craig Wright is not Satoshi, and how did it change your life? I learned Dr. Craig is not Satoshi, I don't know, 2009. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember where I was, man. But if you're talking about the court case that just went through, I mean, if you needed a judge to tell you that Craig Wright wasn't Satoshi, you probably weren't paying attention. But Craig Wright's not Satoshi. Let's hope. Hopefully, the world now knows this. He's never been Satoshi. And, you know, or the Satoshi group, hint, hint, wink, wink. How did it change my life? Not much, man, not much. But hopefully there's a few people out there that were in the cult that it has changed their lives. Mike, good. Oh, good. Have you dextered the room? No, I don't, well, no, there's no like cellophane on the walls. Is that what you mean? No killing in this room. Yeah, wouldn't go over too well, I think. What happens with USDT when Mika go live? Well, JK, I don't know, man. Right now, I've seen some reports that Tether just doesn't care about being Mika compliant. I'm not sure, though, that the person that wrote that news piece knows what that means. I also don't necessarily know if Tether actually said that. Tether also has, by the way, a European stablecoin. If they weren't going to be MiCA compliant, what are they going to do with that? Who actually uses euros outside of Europe? I'll answer that question for you. No one. That's who. Now, unlike US dollars, which are used nearly globally, so why would they even have why would they have a euro stablecoin? They might as well just stop using it, right? So I don't know. We have literally 2 years, almost a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, to find out what happens. If USDT is not quote unquote MiCA compliant and we have to remove it, well, so will everyone else in Europe. And that either means there will be another US dollar stablecoin that takes kind of the position that USDT currently has in Europe, or we just won't have one. I would probably state that Tether, being the size that it is, shouldn't be too difficult for them to be quote unquote MiCA compliant. And they probably will be by 2026. Is IQT being considered for listing at all? Is it an issue that it's a Matic token? Well, I guess previously when we didn't have Matic, it might have been an issue. I don't know. That's not necessarily an issue. No, I don't know what's going to happen with IQT once React goes live. So if IQT is still something that exists and something that's traded and there is a reason to put it in the ecosystem, we can definitely do that. Good morning, Kevin and all. Good morning for me, and I don't know where all is, but when they show up, I'm sure they'll respond. And please pump XCM, no matter how illegal. I was supposed to make it this poll. XCM. Well, we won't be doing anything illegal with XCM, but we're not in the bull market yet, man. So don't worry about it. All right. I know I went through this. I'm going to give you the old long drawn out, Kevin, we're not in a bull run explanation. You ready? Let me take a sip of my coffee real quick. Okay, here we go. So previous 4-year cycles, as they were in crypto ever since way back in 2008, essentially function like this. Retail money flows into Bitcoin. When does retail money flow into Bitcoin? When is kind of the start of that cycle? Roughly 6 months after halving. So the halving hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen in April. 6 months after April would put us in October, Q4 this year. That's when the retail trigger normally happens. Sometimes within those 6 months, but generally towards the tail end. So let's say it could be August, September, but bigger bet on October into Q4. There's only been 2 Q4s that haven't been positive for Bitcoin overall. One was just recently, I think it was 2022. And maybe before that, 2014. Don't quote me on those dates, but I think it's roughly that. Anyway, so retail money flows into Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes higher. Retail takes profits. Retail takes those profits and throws them into altcoins. Now, considering that altcoins have much smaller market caps than Bitcoin, taking this much profit off of Bitcoin means this much movement for altcoins, right? So altcoins explode, creating much more profit. Profit is taken, goes back into Bitcoin. That creates the final push for Bitcoin up to new all-time highs and just obliterates previous highs. Then you get ranging, capitulation, massive profit taking. Well, actually profit taking, then capitulation. Capitulation meaning everybody's like, oh, it fell a bit, but people are just, it's fine. Oh shit, it's still going. Oh, I'm out. And then, then you have basically people being depressed for a year and a half into 2 years, and then repeat process. Right now, we haven't had the halving yet. That's one. But even if you remove that from the equation, we have, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but boomer money. By the way, guys, boomer would mean that you were born after World War II. So I don't know how many boomers are actually in crypto, but there's not many. Anyway, so boomers, which essentially means if you're older than 17 or something. So boomer money is now flowing into ETFs. When boomers take profit, and they will, they're not degens for the most part, at least not crypto degens. They may be doing a whole bunch of degenerate shit, but it's probably not in crypto, right? So their money's gonna flow through the ETFs. They're up 50, 60%. They're taking profits, man. They're taking money off the table. But that money isn't gonna flow into, WITH or some other ridiculous meme coin or any other altcoin for that matter, because, well, they did it through their brokerage. They just get the money back in their account. They go on a cruise and play shuffleboard, man. That's what they're gonna do. That's where those profits are going. And so what happens to the rest of the market? Retail money hasn't come into Bitcoin yet, really, in terms of when we look at previous bull runs, or previous market cycles. So what's going to happen? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Maybe I should ask you. I don't really know. Maybe ask anybody out there. What I suspect to happen is we will start to see more retail money flow into the market towards the end of this year. We also have an election cycle in the US, blah, 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 blah. Lots of things are kind of culminating. So we'll see, but we are not in a bull market yet. So no worries. Hi, Kevin. What crypto available on the exchange are you most bullish on for this bull run? So these are always tricky to answer, and then I just usually answer them flat out. So that's probably not what you're supposed to do. I'll tell you what I own. That's a safe way to do it. I own a bit of Little AI. I think Little AI, their product suite, and as they build out the product suite, will, probably just get better and better over time. But the scope of their product suite is, they're not solving world hunger, not yet, at least. Though, you probably could put together a good narrative of how spam bots on Telegram could solve a bit of world hunger. Because I guess maybe people would stop getting so stressed out on Telegram, seeing all the spam. They wouldn't lose as much money. They would become more productive people in society. They'd actually go to work and get a job and make a bit of money, and then be able to donate a little bit of that money to good causes. And I don't know, but what I'm saying is that I think there is some exponential growth there, but it's not. It might not be 1,000xer, but I do own a little bit of Little AI. I own some Alephium. I'm a layer 1 guy. I think you guys know that already, but I do own some Alephium. From last bull run, I still own PRQ. I still own THT. I still own some Cadena, though I did sell out of some Cadena. So, but I still own some. THT, I do think has a lot of gas in the tank. They just need to know when to hit the pedal, right? And in the past, they haven't really known when to do that. But still own a bit of THT. I think in terms of stuff that we're listing, there's a few things we haven't listed yet that I'm not going to mention, but they're coming. Which I own a bit of. Outside of that, I think that depending on how this bull run performs, and considering that we're seeing an election year, considering ETFs, blah 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 blah, we may see Bitcoin go higher than it normally would have because of inflows into ETFs. We could also see less volatility because of ETFs. I don't really know. Why would we see less volatility? Well, more money coming in quicker profit taking means potentially less, which means that the peaks and troughs will be smoothed with the ETF. That's both good and bad, depending on how you rate previous bull runs. But it could make this bull run different in the fact that we may see an even higher high for Bitcoin. And thus, once retail money does get in, more of that retail money, not the ETF money, but retail money, will flow back in to alts. Can you provide us some alpha about new listings? No, I can't, sorry. What I can say is that we will absolutely have more staking plans. One little tidbit of information for you here, because this leads into it, is part of this end of this quarter announcement is about us revamping and retooling several things, very important things when it comes to Coinmetro. One of those is Mars. And as you know, right now, Mars is built up mainly entirely of staking programs. There will be a refocus on Mars in combination with several other things. And eventually Mars will not just be staking. So those multi-asset rewards will not just be connected to staking programs on Coinmetro. They will be connected to other things as well. That's not the actual news I was going to give up, but we'll get there. You got to just keep listening. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, here we go. IQT is also ETH. Yeah, that's true. I think it was. I think for a long time it was on Binance chain, and that's why we wouldn't touch it. Is this a 5-year plan, AMA? No, it's not. But I'm gonna throw a few tidbits out, if you like. Well, I mean, maybe that's a good lead-in, right? Maybe that's a good lead-in. So, what I was gonna share with you guys is this. Everybody here, I assume, knows about our tiers program, right? That's where you stake 10,000, 25,000, 50,000 XCM, and you get some benefits, right? Everybody knows about that. Okay. Well, in April, we will be launching a new version, all right? It's not even a new version. It is a completely different product, similar to tiers. It's called levels. Joining of these different levels is going to be very straightforward. It's going to be really easy to gain access to the first couple of levels that still offers significant benefits. That's going to remove us from this whole thing where people are like, come on, man, 10,000 or 25,000 XCM at current prices with the floor in place, very expensive, kind of outweighs the benefits. That's going to go away. The program is designed in a way to give progressive rewards. So obviously, the higher you go up, the more you level up, I should say, the less you're going to be paying in fees, and the more you're saving across a gamut of different products and services within the Coinmetro ecosystem. So there's going to be some minor fee adjustments. The vast majority of people that trade at Coinmetro at any level are going to see almost no change. And most people will see actually better prices. And the reason for doing this is, one, we're now seeing as we make more money, right? We're now seeing we may hit sustainability this month. And the data that we've collected through the bear market, through the last bull market, and now moving into kind of, I wouldn't call this a bull market, but into this, let's say, renewed, enthusiastic crypto market, we've been able to pinpoint places where we need to focus when it comes to our own revenues, where we can actually be a bit more lenient, and on the subsets of clients that we need to adjust to either keep them happy or even out revenues. So anyway, the reason that we're launching a little bit beyond Q1 is absolutely intentional. We want to make sure that when we launch this product, Levels, that it is a game changer for Coinmetro, and it is the first step in a line of changes that's coming, that's going to revolutionize not only the tokenomics of XCM, which this is a part of, which Levels will be a part of and a significant part of, but also lead us down the path to our kind of push towards changing the company in a much larger way with a keyword of decentralization. So anyway, we'll be sharing more information about Levels in April as we gear up towards the launch. And so that's a little tidbit of information I wanted to give. What I can say is the amount of what we're giving back in this Levels program far exceeds what you currently see in tiers. Again, access is much easier. XCM plays a major part, but it's not the only part. It's not just based on you have to stake XCM. It's based on trade volume. XCM, though, applies a very unique plus to the system to make sure that XCM holders are rewarded for their support over the years. All right, there you go. That's a little tidbit I was planning to give out. Plus, I already said that Mars is getting revamped. So you get a couple tidbits, I guess. Will you be at Token 2049? I don't think so, Lou. Right now, I'm kind of focused on getting several things accomplished within the business, and that's making me travel less, at least for the next 2 quarters or so. So yeah, I did spill some beans, so you guys can comment on the beans. I'll get there shortly, sorry. I own 30K XM since ICO, just restaking every year. Maybe in 2035, I can use it to buy a house or something. Look, I don't want to make a prediction about XCM and its value, Christopher, but 2035, I don't think it's going to take that long. We really are, we ever since the floor was put, well, not since it was put in place, but ever since liquidity dried up on the floor, we've been talking about making changes to get XCM liquid again. And while we made some of those, there were some that we simply couldn't get out the door. There were others that we could have, but market sentiment was terrible, simply because we were in the midst of a bear market, and it just got worse and worse and worse over time. And some of these changes need market sentiment to be better in order to work quickly. Whereas it doesn't mean they wouldn't have worked if we would have done them a year ago, but you wouldn't have really felt it. And thus the sentiment would be they didn't work. And that's not what we wanted. So yeah, I don't think 2035, I don't think you have to wait to 2035 is what I'm trying to say. Cajun says that you don't like them anymore because you ghosted the XV. Did you get any message from them? I would have never shared this publicly, but considering that you brought it up, here we go. I'm not ghosting VXB. At one point earlier or late last year, we were approached by several people. At first, I thought this was a scam. I was approached, Telegram and LinkedIn, pushing me to list this SBIO. I said, we're not interested. It's a security. We can't list it. We'll pay you. I don't want your money. We're not going to list it. It's a security. We'll pay you. I don't want your money. We're not going to list it. It's a security. We'll give you $50,000. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's the same answer. And I first, again, thought it was a scam. Then found out that these were actually people working for and on behalf of the company to get the project listed. Come to find out that they ended up sending $50,000 or euros or something, a USDT, I don't know, plus a whole bunch of tokens to a fake Kevin on Telegram. Yeah. Look, I don't like to repeat myself when I don't have to. I said, we can't list it. It's a security. And I was getting bullied to list the asset. And the people that were representing the company, I would say, were embarrassing. And that's it. That's the story. Now, Cajun himself has not reached out to me after that. I actually brought that to his attention, and he said he would look into it or whatever. But since then, he hasn't sent me a message as far as I know, and I haven't ghosted him in any way. But I do. To me personally, this has nothing to do with Coinmetro, but to me personally, what I see inside of the chat, how he acts, the type of responses he gives, and the content of that channel, me personally, I don't like it. I guess that's all I don't like. I would run away personally. Can't you just remove the floor price? If you're asking just from like a technical aspect, or of course we can. Yes, that's the answer to that question. Yes, we could. Sorry if this was asked. Just popped in. Any updates on USD deposits? Hey, Catherine. Yeah, it was asked. So quick recap. We had one of the biggest USD on and off ramps. We onboarded with them. We passed all the compliance. We were integrating. They lost their bank account. So back to the drawing board. There were two companies involved. One that's lesser known in crypto that linked us to the much well-known trust company that almost every exchange uses for USD. Well, again, lost at least one of their USD accounts, the one that we were going to use through their services. And so we started looking again. We've had interviews now with a few different companies. And the first company that linked us to this other entity is now rapidly looking to replace that entity with another solution. We were supposed to have USD ready, at the end of this month. That was the plan. Given this and something out of our control, I'm hoping that by the end of April, so with about a month delay, we'll be able to launch USD. But it depends on who's going to provide it, who's going to provide the service, and how we need to integrate. So we will see how that plays out. Favorite Kanye album? I don't know if I know all the names of the albums I think the last album that I had, I might have even bought it as an album. I don't remember. It was a College Dropout, I think. I'm not saying that's my favorite. All I'm saying is I don't remember the name of any other album by Kanye West. But I can say when that album came out, I was playing it. I was playing it maybe more than I should. IQT and React are two different tokens. Yeah, I know that. Hey, hereby, I hope that's not what it sounded like. Like I didn't know that. What I'm saying is that I understand that IQ protocol is independent from Parsec. I get that. I also understand that React is going to be its own mainnet. What I'm saying is previously Parsec has had they had PR, what was it, PRB or PR, whatever it was, that token that just wasn't used anymore. And I'm wondering what the focus will be for IQT, considering that IQT and React may have similar, or maybe focusing on similar things. Does it make sense to list both? That's my point. What are your thoughts on the new super cycle in the market? Hey, Liam. I kind of commented on this. I don't know if it's a super cycle, to be honest. I can see scenarios where this is the last 4-year cycle as we know them. I can see scenarios where it continues. I can see scenarios where Bitcoin becomes much less of a player on the retail side, and potentially these 4-year cycles either remain or don't, but that altcoins become the focus of the entirety of the retail market. Why? Well, I know that, I said for many years here that what was going to happen eventually was that traditional finance was going to find what they liked, take it, and just kind of say whatever to everything else. Well, they like Bitcoin. And so we now have Bitcoin ETFs. They're saying that, now you're seeing that Ethereum might be a security. I'm pretty sure I mentioned on the show a few times that previous suits brought by the SEC meant that Ethereum was a security, at least according to the way that they were judging other projects, because Ethereum did an ICO. Simple as that. And so the question really is, one, do they like Ethereum? I don't know. I would say that at least from the traditional standpoint, there are definitely companies that like Ethereum. There's been a lot of issuances on the Ethereum blockchain, being that it's programmatic money versus store of value. Or let's be honest, guys. And gals. Let's be really honest. Traditional finance does not see Binance. Oh my God. Does not see Bitcoin as a store of value. It sees it as a speculative commodity-like asset that it can make money on. And that's why we have an ETF. Gold, and I'm not a gold bug, is absolutely, I see people like, if you would have bought gold in 1968, you'd be up $8 right now. Yeah, but you still have the same amount of money. That's why it's a store of value, because it doesn't lose with inflation, right? That makes it a store of value. Bitcoin makes a lot of money, or has historically. If you would have bought Bitcoin, back in 2009, you'd have a lot more money. Does that make it a store of value, or does that make it a speculative asset that went up a fuck ton? To me, it's the second. It's that second answer. It's not a store of value, and Wall Street doesn't see it as a store of value. No, they do not. But they like it, and that's why we have ETFs. So now the question is, what happens with everything else? If more and more money starts to flow into ETFs, instead of seeing, Bitcoin markets that look like this, new high, whatever. I look crazy when I was doing it. You're going to see this. Prince new highs, whatever, but maybe the first couple of years it's 40% a year, 50, 60% a year. Maybe after that it goes to 30, then 10. And then it's just like any other, blue chip. Is retail going to put money in something that looks like a blue chip? No. Crypto retail, these people want to make 1,000x. Like their neighbor said that the guy that they knew once, that knew a guy that used to drive a taxi, made $1 billion by putting 6 cents into a meme coin called Bald White Men in Finance. By the way, that's my new meme coin coming out. So I just figured come on, man, I might as well use the airtime for something, right? Anyway, so I don't know. The new super cycle, in my mind, what I really think is going to happen is we're going to see a similar bull market, to what we've seen previously. But the difference is going to be in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's, where it goes at once it kind of steadily, or once it's already broken the high, but once it breaks the last all-time high, which was like a couple weeks ago, how high it goes, what the extension is, and what happens when it gets there. If we don't see capitulation, it's because most of that money is ETFs and they're taking profits on the way, which means we probably won't see a 3 to 5x like we've seen in the past after having it, right? That's going to mean that retail money is going to stick with altcoins. That could mean an explosive bull market for altcoins, but there still will be a bull market for Bitcoin because of the ETFs. The next cycle, however, Bitcoin may not be as volatile. So there might not be a big bull market for Bitcoin. Would that mean that mainstream media will stop covering crypto, which means more retail money won't flow in, which means it'll be the same recycled retail money? And anyway, that's when it starts getting interesting. But anyway, I digress from answering 45 minutes on that question. React will be the coin of the React network, layer 1. I stays a token underneath. Yep. Hereby understood and already known. Sorry if I'm confused. If my answer was confusing, sorry. Will ETH and alts run like people are whispering about? I think I just answered that, I think. Hello, Kevin. Do the XCM holders know they can increase the price by removing their sell wall at 6 cents, at 60 cents? It's a good question. I assume some people in there probably know, some people don't. You know, it doesn't necessarily, I mean, even if there was no sell wall, that doesn't necessarily mean people would be buying. Just saying. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean. But yeah, obviously, if people removed their limit sells and allowed market orders to slowly come into the market, well, guess what would happen? The book would move. Why are you not growing your beard anymore? Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, we had the contest. And then, you know, we never kind of got there. And then I said, well, I didn't say I wouldn't trim it. I don't know. I just kind of, I had a few people tell me bald and less beard. So I went with bald, less beard. Going to spill details on, so I did spill some details already. You skipped my question on architects. I tagged you on Twitter about it. Remember the veggie burgers in an hour. Look, I tagged you on Twitter about it. Remember the veggie burgers in an hour in one sitting. Yeah, all right. I'll have to check Twitter because I have no idea what that means right now. But I'll go take a look. What happened to the new rewards page that was teased some months back? It's been saying coming soon ever since. Has it been abandoned? That very well might be part of this levels product, but I'm not sure what you mean. I guess you mean affiliate rewards. And that's a whole nother ball game that's actually been in Q&A for quite some time now. So I hate to say it, but I'm going to say soon. It's kind of painful at the same time. It's a bit nostalgic saying soon. And yeah, anyway. Hi, Kevin. Do you actually mention hitting sustainability? Do you mean that SEAM is actually close to making profit? Yes. If we stay on the current trajectory as we are, as I speak in March, we have a good shot at hitting sustainability this month. Are you still mad at quant? I never was really mad at quant. Just didn't really get quant. Now, before anybody has a heart attack, like a stroke, I owned some quant and I sold some quant. But I understood what quant wanted to do. I understood about kind of the tokenomics and the tokenomics they were trying to drive, but also understood that their client base that they were going after, central banks, etc., weren't going to buy a token on the Ethereum network to pay for licensing fees. And that always bugged me. Also, there's never been an instance where central banks needed to transact using the same systems. And I wondered if they really needed to. And even if they needed to, would they be willing to? Would the Bank of England, the Bank of Canada, the Fed in the US, and the European Central Bank want to be using the same infrastructure, and for what specific reason? And so I just never got the quant thing. What I did understand was quant had a great community with deep pockets, and they kind of created their own bullish sentiment and their own market, and they still do that to this day. So for that, that's amazing. That's a great community. It's almost as good as the Cardano community. I mean, the one thing that Cardano created and actually delivered, which is amazing, is their community. VXV Discord is a mess. Makes me embarrassed to be a holder. Yeah, I haven't even been in the Discord, man. I won't step foot in there. But I've seen Telegram, and that was good enough for me to tip my hat, Homer Simpson, my way back through the bushes. You're not supposed to pronounce hereby in the English way. It's French. Oh boy. French Overseas Department of Reunion, close to Madagascar. It's pronounced like the frogs say ribbit. Irebe. All right. Well, I mean, but it is written. I mean, that is a word in English, hereby, as in like, I hereby pronounce you to be, whatever. But thanks, Sam. I appreciate that. I didn't know that. I thought the guy really liked Old English. Some people are saying this bull cycle might be left translated. So BTC could top later this year. I really think we should get the XCM changes completed long before that. Yeah, I mean, some people are saying a lot of stuff. What I can tell you is nobody knows. There isn't a single soul right now that actually knows it's going to happen, but somebody will be right and definitely take credit for it. Thanks, Kevin. By the way, I started drinking coffee at 40. Yeah, similar to me, man. I was 40 something. I'm glad I'm not the only, fucking old guy. I thought I was late, man. I thought I was really late, but it just proves, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can do whatever you want, You can start a business and make money and, I don't know, go to school and get laughed at. The fusion plan with a similar sized company isn't on the table anymore. With that specific company, no. But it's not that it doesn't. It's still something that potentially might be something we're looking at. But we expected to get to self-sustainability in Q3 or 4, and we may just hit it in Q1. Cross your fingers. And that makes that type of proposal more difficult to close. Coinmetro, best exchange. Kevin the GOAT. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Come on, how about some more about the improved Mars? No. No. But the Mars and XCM tokenomics absolutely revamped and just completely different. So some side, like at face value, similar for sure. But underneath, absolutely completely changed. And you guys are going to like what you hear, I think, when you hear about it. But it's not going to be today. Sorry. By the way, I hope you're right about it being quicker than 2035. I'm not usually much of an investor, but my gut tells me Coinmetro is going to do very well in the coming years. Thanks, Christopher. Look, yeah, investing is tough. First of all, you have to believe in somebody else's dream. You have to support that other person's dream, and you got to sit back, an armchair quarterback while that person does things you may not agree with, or misses things that you thought were obvious. It's difficult. It's never easy. But having said that, I appreciate the support. And I honestly do think it's going to be quicker than 2035. The way this market is cyclical, it's like you're selling Halloween costumes. Who the fuck is buying a Halloween costume in July, right? Or in, I don't know, March, right? But September, October roll around, you're making lots of money. And that's how these markets work for crypto exchanges. The real difficult problem to solve is figuring out how to be profitable in a bear market. And we have some things in our roadmap coming up that we hope will do just that will keep us profitable. We know, I can almost guarantee you, without guaranteeing you, because you can't be 100% sure about anything, that during this bull market, upcoming bull market, we will be profitable. What I want to be able to look back and say, I told you so on, is that we remained profitable throughout the next bear cycle. One more fireside chats, really enjoyed those, but it's been a while. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. I guess, we have someone focusing entirely on listings right now. So we paused a little bit on listings just in the past month and a half, 2 months, because we were focused on a few other things. Now, as you'll notice, you'll see more listings coming. With more listings means more potential fireside chats. So I'm hoping that we see some more myself. I like doing them. I like talking to projects. I like hearing from, the horse's mouth, as it were, what they're up to, what they want to do, how they think they're different, all those questions everybody likes to ask and pick people's brains. So yeah, I agree. I think that might be the last question. I'm going to hang out for a bit and see if any other questions come in. Without giving you too much additional information, as I said, I don't want to. Or, I'll just people will not like me internally if I give out too much information. But there will be a specific AMA coming relatively soon, where I will drop much more about what's coming in this quote unquote 5-year plan. What I can tell you is the major focuses are XCM and its tokenomics. Let's call it making things that will make people interact more with our ecosystem, and levels is one of those things, which is what I explained to you a bit earlier. The next 5 years for the company and how we want to go from just a centralized exchange to a real hybrid, and how that is going to translate into decentralization in many ways when it comes to different aspects of a business, and why that's good, and why that gives us more flexibility, and why that means we can not only compete, but eventually take big heaps of market share from some of our competitors. Okay, here are a couple more questions. Hi, Kevin. I missed the recent shareholder meeting. Was there a recording? When might there be another, please? Next shareholder meeting should be towards the end of Q2. If you DM me on Telegram and let me know the email that you have registered with us as a shareholder, like where your shares sit on Ignium or, on Ignium, then I'll respond back. And I know a few of you have done the same, and I haven't responded back yet, but I will. Just give me a bit of time. An announcement of announcement of announcement. Well, I mean, kind of. It's not just in sunlight, though. There actually will be an announcement. And I did give you some tidbits, right? So it's kind of like a reveal, and then announcement of announcement, whatever. If you had sustainability, you still look for funding? If yes, what amount? Want to be? Yes, definitely still looking for funding. We are currently browsing around for about 5 million euro. Valuation is less than the last round. It's a bit up for negotiation. What we're looking for is a bit of smart money, and we're willing to wheel and deal, I guess is how I'd like to leave it. Can you share some more information about plans for next upcoming listings? I can't, but what I will tell you is that there will be a renewed look at listings, and we are going to start listing things at a faster pace. As you saw maybe in the last months, even though there's been a bit of a pause, that is going to pick up again. Wanted to ask the same as wannabe. It's gotten rather quiet regarding funding. Did you get funded? Are you still looking? Any smaller tickets filled? Since, we've definitely had a bit of money come in on funding, not as much as we're looking for. And we're still looking for about 5 million euro. With our reduced cost base and also increase in revenue, this is why this kind of 6-month runway meme kind of popped up in Telegram. And that's because, well, we had 6 months at a much higher cost base with a much lower revenue base. And then we got a bit more money. But really, aside from getting the money, we just lowered our cost base dramatically. And we increased our revenue relatively dramatically, and thus, well, the extension. And so, yeah, we're still looking for funding. And there's not a lot of talk because, somebody asked something. That might have been you, Sam. I don't know. Somebody asked at the beginning of the show about, or made a post like, hey, and I was like, remember the member bearers. You guys, South Park reference. Member Member the Italian deal, member, whatever. I remember, man, trust me. I like to share information with you guys publicly, but normally what I'll do is I'll share it as I get it. And then something happens and okay, oh shit, that's the way life is. You ask anybody that's been fundraising, you will get commitments, soft commitments. You will get people talking you up and telling you this and that and the other, and then it doesn't happen. And so, I shared kind of play by play. And now I'm not sharing so much play by play anymore. I'm still talking to investors. I talk to investors every week and sometimes every day within a week. But until we have, ink on paper, I'm going to go ahead and hold it back. Because I just don't want to see the memes, I guess, is the reality. What's going on with Backify? Any collaborations on the horizon? No collaborations currently on the horizon with Backify. I know Backify was also looking for some funding, and well, it's a tough funding market right now. And I think they've had to cut back significantly because of that. When BTC correction? Well, I think most of the boomers that are putting money into the ETFs have been told by the people that are directing them into the ETFs, if they're being told anything at all. I've actually had somebody who put money through an ETF tell me that he went specifically to his broker and said, I want to put money in the ETF. And they're like, yeah, we can do it, but we can't go and do it. But if people are getting advice, and if they're not, and they're just Googling advice, they're probably looking to sell somewhere around the halving, because historically price kind of sits, ranges, and then takes some time to go higher. And they've probably already taken profits because some of those guys got in and have already up 40% or more, and thus probably already took some money off the table. So again, the correction could be less brutal because of the ETFs. It could also be similar this time around, maybe, but in reality, more liquidity usually equates to less volatility because people are coming and going. They're not coming, everybody leaves. That's the difference between, let's say, your kind of retail buying on an exchange versus ETFs. Now, there's definitely retail money in ETFs, but there's also, institutional money. What's your drink of choice? And then follow up alcohol-wise. Historically, I didn't really drink that much alcohol. When I was a kid, never went to parties. And then for at least 10, 12 something years of my adult life, not a drop. And not because I had an issue, I just didn't drink, right? I'm working, man, this is FX Pigs days, Now, traveling now and kind of going to conferences, stuff like that, I have a few drinks here or there. I don't know. I enjoy a bit of wine every now and again. Good wine, though, not like gas station wine, like actual take out your credit card and wince a little bit, when you pay for the bottle of wine. But if we talk about alcohol, I used to be a cognac guy. In reality, cognac is still a thing for me. I still like cognac, whiskey, sipping alcohol. Yes, actually, really good tequilas. Actually, I lived a long time in Mexico, so really good tequila is actually not bad. But if you think tequila is like Jose Cuervo or something, just forget it. Everybody has a bad tequila story, but once you have a good tequila, it just changes your whole mindset. So even something like Clase Azul, which isn't the best tequila in the world, is still decent, and you can sip on it. And if it's chilled, it's not bad. Anyway, we're 54 minutes in. And Monkey Biscuits might have the last. It's not a question. Just said I was lovely. Let's leave it at that. Let's just leave this one up. Somebody screenshot this and, game over. Cool. So thank you, everybody, for coming by. Thanks for spending time with me. I really do appreciate it. I threw out some tidbits about what's going to happen. There will be a specific AMA about what's happening what's going to be happening through the rest of this year, and a little bit about that 5-year plan coming up. So stay tuned to find out when that's going to happen. If you have some questions on what I already released and you want to try to pull a little bit more out, you can tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. You can ask in our TG channel, Coinmetro channel. Just tag me at Kevin Murcko. You can also tweet me. I saw somebody did say they tweeted me, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So I will check Twitter and see if I need to respond to somebody. Have a great rest of your Thursday, a great Friday, and a very awesome weekend. And thanks everybody for your support as always. I think this coming towards the end of this year and into next year is going to be amazing for Coinmetro. I expect it to be amazing for XCM holders. I expect it to be amazing for Coinmetro as a company, and I expect it to just be amazing for the market in general. So buckle up, sit on your hands, and see you guys here. Well, it won't be this show. It'll be another AMA. Again, you got to stay tuned. Make sure you follow us wherever you can follow us, and I will be talking at you pretty soon. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.